It smells so good. Hello friends, and welcome back to Rachel's Baking Corner. Today we are going to be making strawberry oatmeal bars. Insert jam oatmeal bars. You can make this with any jam or jelly that you'd like. You can make this completely gluten-free. You can make this completely sugar-free. You can make this however you want. I have made it in multiple ways and it turns out fantastic every single time. So I have made a couple changes with the way I'm preparing it today versus the recipe. I will link the recipe below. Just know you have the freedom to kind of play around with the flour that you use, the jam that you use, and the sweeteners that you use. So without further ado, let's chat ingredients, order of operations, and we'll get baking. When it comes to the ingredients, you need a half a cup of oil. I will be using half of a cup of coconut oil, which is what the recipe recommends, and it just works, and it's a nice healthy oil. You could use avocado oil, you could use regular oil, you can use whatever you want. Then you need 1.5 cups of flour. You could do all-purpose flour, you could do a gluten-free flour. I have some whole wheat flour from King Arthur, so I decided to use that to just give it a little more nutrient maybe. I don't know. I also have a lot of whole wheat flour to use, so let's use it. I've done this with oatmeal flour, and I've done this with regular flour. Then you need 1.5 cups of oats. Recipe calls for quick oats. I like using steel cut oats. I think there's another term for it, but like regular steel cut oats. Then you need 1/3 cup of maple syrup. Not so sure where you can go with that. I don't know if agave or like honey would be too sweet. So I'm just gonna stick with the maple. I also love maple syrup so much. And in addition to that, 1/3 cup of coconut sugar is what the recommendation is in the recipe. I usually have that, don't have that today. Just gonna use brown sugar, and that's totally fine because brown sugar and maple with the strawberry, it's gonna be fantastic. Then you need 1 teaspoon of baking powder. I went ahead and just added that in here, and then 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I went ahead and used sea salt. Then 1/2 cup of your preserves. So you can use any fruit preserves you want. I've actually done blueberry preserves once and it was amazing because the little pockets of blueberries just kind of like gush in your mouth and it's great. This is just traditional strawberry jelly. Preserves specifically, sorry, not jelly. I guess there's a difference, seeds and things like that, and how it's made. Do whatever you want. Apricot would be delicious, raspberry, strawberry, cherry, blueberry, a mixed berry preserves, apple preserves. Oh my gosh, you could go on forever. Make it a seasonal if you want. Do whatever you want to. Do it. Just do it. This is your recipe. These are your granola bars. Do whatever you want. So first things first, let's prep our pan. I have a 11 by 7.5 inch casserole dish. I've made this in a bunch of different pans. If you want it to make more bars that are kind of like a thin granola bar, you want a bigger pan. If you want to make this more like a dessert, which I have done most of the time, I will use a smaller cooking dish. I use like a Corningware casserole dish and make them kind of thick, and I make the jam in the center a little thicker and serve it hot, almost like a cobbler or something like that. So the world is your oyster. I'm just gonna take some of my coconut oil and just put a little bit in there to grease up the pan. Let's switch this out. So now we're gonna mix all of the ingredients together besides the jam. So first I'm gonna get the flour, the brown sugar, and the active ingredients. Give that a little bit of a crumble first so that it doesn't clump up in my flour. All right, we're just gonna stir this around to kind of break up the brown sugar into the flour. Let's get our oats, and we'll just stir those around. Then we're gonna get our coconut oil. Should be more melted. I didn't think about that, but it's pretty soft, so it's gonna be fine. Then our maple syrup. So I'm using my rubber spatula, and just mashing this around. We're just gonna keep kneading this with the spatula until all that flour has been absorbed. You don't wanna panic if you keep seeing flour and you're like, gosh, it's not absorbing, and then add more oil or something, because then it could be too greasy, and you don't want that. You have to just kind of be patient and just keep whisking it around and just trust that that flour will absorb into the oil and the maple. It just takes a second. Now, if you wanted to take additional liberties, you could add chia seeds, you could add flax seeds, you could add some shredded nuts or almonds, you could add dried fruit like cranberries, or let's say you do like a strawberry preserve. I picked one that had like whole chunks of strawberries in it so that there will be pieces of strawberries in it. So that's kind of up to you. All right, so I have everything mixed in. So there's no flour at all. It's a nice, moist, crumbly mixture. Notice no eggs, nothing like that. We're gonna get our pan and we're gonna take a majority of this and scoop it into our pan. So, leave maybe a cup behind. Doesn't have to be perfect. This is my creative liberty, okay? This is not what the recipe says. We're gonna mash this down. Just make an even layer. I just use the back of my spatula, press it down. Just takes a second. Good, doesn't have to be perfect. All right, next, you're gonna get your preserves. They might be a little easier to spread if they're warm, for what it's worth, but I usually don't have a lot of problems with it. I did not measure this out. It's supposed to be, I think it said a cup. I didn't measure it out. I measure with my heart and how much jam I want. Jelly, jam, whatever it is. So I'm just smooshing this out. I leave a 1/2 inch barrier along the edge, just so it doesn't go overboard. All right. Then what I do is, instead of just plopping this on top, I like to use my fingers and break it up along the top. I don't like pressing it down firmly. And then I'll just kind of zhuzh it around. I want these bits to almost caramelize around the edges and just melt into that jam. I don't want to press it and smush it. I don't know why. I did this once, I think the second or third time I made this, and I loved it. Okay, let me show you a close-up, shall we? This is our oat bars. You can see the whole pieces of oats. You can see the jam kind of peeking through. Chunks of brown sugar and coconut oil. It's gonna be good. All right, so we've got this ready to go. It's that simple, really. And you don't even have to do the little crumbly bit that I did at the end. If you really want to just slap it together and get it going, I totally get that. I just like the texture that it leaves, that it's a little loose and crumblier, especially if you want to just serve it with like a scoop of ice cream. This is going to go into a 350-degree oven, and it's going to bake for 25 to 30 minutes until it's golden brown on top. I don't think you can really overdo it too much. Obviously, the more jam or jelly you put in there, you might want to bake it a little bit longer. You might notice a little more bubblage. It's fine. Just keep an eye on it till it looks good. When it's good and ready and it smells delicious, pull it out. 25 to 30 minutes is just a little bit of a recommendation. So I will see you in a second. We have our finished crumble. We have a nice golden brown texture. You can see the little bit of strawberry peeking through. I'm excited to take this out and eat it. Let's do it. How shall we do this? So you would think, like a granola bar, you could just flip this out and cut it up and eat it. I don't know if this will do that. I'm just gonna cut a piece out. I don't really care. Never fear, I've got the knife. Ooh, dance. There we go. It is very crumbly. That's why I don't like to take it out, because I don't want it to just fall apart and make a mess everywhere. Okay, now we can try one. How do I get this out? There we go. Beautiful, came out easily. Ha, yay! Okay, let me come around. It smells so good. So you can see the strawberry, you can see the layers of the oats and the flour, you can see the oats on top. Whoops. Let's try this. It's been chilling. I did put it in my fridge after it was out for like 30 minutes. Tastes exactly how you'd expect. Crumbly, sweet, but not overly sweet. Fruity, nutty, oaty. I love this stuff. It got really dense in the center, along the edges. Got a nice caramelization on the bottom. If I was on a hike, I would devour this. If I was in bed, I would devour this. Honestly, I just plan on devouring this. And so do my coworkers. Just you wait. Awesome. Well, that's it. Granola bars. They're very easy to make. They're very versatile. You can do so many different things with them. And you could probably bulk make these and have a stock up for like a whole month, honestly. I don't know how long they last in the fridge, but it's jam and you baked it. I can't imagine it goes bad all that quickly. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I enjoyed making it. I've made this so many times. I think I even did something on my Instagram with this at one point in time, but thank you for watching. If you have any recommendations, go ahead and leave me a comment down below. I love reading your comments and I love to look at new recipes and try new things. If you like this video, subscribe, leave a like. I post videos every Saturday and I will see you at the next one. Thank you again for watching. I love you. Thank you. Mwah. Goodbye.